Episode 139. Congratulations to the players of Blue Brook Guild Lord Grim, Windward Formation Soft Mist, Steamed Bun Invasion, and Lu Mu. They have broken the dungeon record for the burial grounds with a time of 16 minutes, 24 seconds, and 67 milliseconds. This shaved about 32 seconds off the previous record held by excellent Eras Club team. Huang Xiaoshen's judgment was spot on. That record set by Dynasty was already at its absolute limit. To shave off another 30 seconds was already a remarkable feat. Liu Hao, who had never once left his seat, kept repeating 32 seconds, 32 seconds. As for the flood of messages from Steamed Bun Invasion, he didn't even look at them. He kept his eyes glued to the system messages, even as a voice inside his head kept insisting. Their record was unbreakable, yet they still waited here. He had finally waited for that 300-second improvement. Liu Hao simply couldn't fathom how this was even possible. He stared at the screen. Who is this Lu Mu person? Parting Sorrow's sword was still in the Orchid Stream Pavilion Guild at the moment. He hurriedly scrolled through the member list. Found Yu Mu, a level 20 Sana swordsman, to surpass their record. This person's skill level absolutely cannot be low. But since this burial grounds strategy is brand new, if we get someone else like Cold Mist or Steamed Bun Invasion, that requires a long period of practice and coordination. Yet this person broke the record the very night they joined. Was this something Ye Qiu had prepared and practiced in secret? Or was this yet another player with pro-level skill? That's why they could master the strategy so quickly. Judging by the timing, this should be their second dungeon run after midnight, given their 32-second improvement margin. Even if they messed up a few times on the first run against Zombie Bailey, it would still be enough to smash Jia Dynasty's record. But the first run wasn't. That means it was slow, a deliberate probe. He was learning the pattern. To master the strategy after just one attempt. That's the caliber of a true pro, a professional swordsman. Then he thought about tonight's match.
Huang Xiaoshen!
Liu Hao nearly coughed up blood. Who would believe that? The Bone Burial Grounds dungeon record, it actually has Ye Qiu and Huang Xiaoshen in it. Is this even a dungeon run anymore? Are you guys playing in the all-star game? But even Huang Xiaoshen's 32-second improvement, that's a bit much, isn't it? Even if he is a top-tier expert. But this is just the burial grounds. Even the best have their limits here, but for a pro player, this limit, everyone can reach this limit. Could there really be some hidden technique I'm missing? That shouldn't be the case. He couldn't see any room for improvement at all. Liu Hao was distracted, his mind a whirl of frustration. He left his room wanting to go for a walk, only to run into Soma Cheng in the hallway. Soma Cheng greeted Liu Hao warmly. This was unprecedented. Soma Cheng had never shown a friendly face to the person who drove Ye Qiu away. She didn't even bother with the slightest pretense of politeness.
Thanks for the help.
Soma Cheng drifted past with a light laugh. Help? What do you mean?
Help? What help did I give?
Liu Hao's face went pale, his fists clenched so tight his knuckles were about to burst.
Hey you! Stop right there!
What is it?
Soma Cheng turned her head with a radiant smile, a stark contrast to Liu Hao's ferocious expression. Their gazes met and clashed, though their smiles remained fixed. But the steely resolve in Soma Cheng's eyes took Liu Hao by surprise. In their eyes, Soma Cheng had always been a gentle, mild-mannered girl. She was kind to everyone, but spent most of her time glued to Ye Qiu's side. She never seemed to have a mind of her own. A girl like that inevitably seemed like an easy target. Liu Hao roared at Soma Cheng with a ferocious glare. Yet when their eyes met, it was Liu Hao who looked away, his own guilt laid bare.
If there's nothing else, I'll be on my way.
Soma Cheng smiled, but had already turned and walked away. Liu Hao watched Soma Cheng's retreating figure, his thoughts in turmoil. Gradually, Liu Hao's agitation subsided. He took a deep breath and returned to his room. He picked up his phone. He called Chen Yihui, the guild leader of Excellent Dynasty. "Hello, Captain Liu." The voice on the other end held a trace of hesitation, as if unsure how to begin.
You'll have to handle the dungeon on your own for now. I'm afraid I can't step in for the time being. If no pro players interfere in Server 10, the records would inevitably be dominated by Ye Qiu. So the conflict between guilds has shifted to this front. It basically comes down to which guild can secure Ye Qiu's help.
Then I'm afraid it wouldn't be very convenient for us.
We can try to make contact, see where he stands. If that doesn't work, we still need to keep an eye on him. See if there's any opening we can exploit. Right. There's one piece of intel I need you to focus on gathering. What? What was Ye Qiu's price? What was the reward he demanded from every guild he worked with? I'd like to know that, actually.
Should we gather our people to deal with him? At the very least, he's isolated and outnumbered right now.
That's your call, but don't involve the guild's people. Be careful, or you'll give the other guilds an excuse to gang up on you. Lord Grimm is a hot commodity in the eyes of the other guilds now. Who's to say he won't throw in with one of them for protection?
All right, I'll handle it my way then.
Alright, I'll drop by District 10 when I'm free. Let's keep in touch.
After hanging up the phone, Yu Hao took a deep breath. He couldn't afford to act on impulse any longer. He'd been too excited these past few days, which led to a lot of mistakes. His plan to sabotage Ye Qiu's record breaking run had failed. Instead, he'd been outplayed by Ye Qiu himself. While this infuriated him, it was ultimately just a personal grudge. It's just a bit of emotional pain. The real mistake he must not make tonight is to cause Jia Shi's defeat through a string of errors in the match. Although they only earned 3 points last round, Seng Shang's 1 versus 3 performance at least gave people hope. This match, playing at home against the second ranked powerhouse on the leaderboard, if Blue Rain could secure a few more victories, that would have been a spectacular comeback victory. In the match, Team Jia Shi did hold the initiative, but it was all undone by a few utterly amateur mistakes from their vice captain, Liu Hao. For now, though everyone was displeased, they still chalked it up to a one-off lapse in form. But if Excellent Era's performance continues to plummet from here on out, then, looking back on this season, this point that should have been the turning point, but because of Liu Hai's blunder, it all fell apart. This wouldn't just be a simple mistake, but a major blunder. This mistake could be fatal to his future.
If he still couldn't read the situation, at this point, if he let personal grudges distract him, and went into the game to obsess over the already retired Ye Qiu,
then you'd truly be losing the forest for the trees.
Ye Qiu,
I know you haven't given up yet.
but this is only the beginning. Let's see what you're made of. I'll be watching.
Liu Hao gritted his teeth, giving the mirror one last ferocious glare. He suddenly raised his hands and scrubbed his face vigorously a few times. As his hand fell away, his face was now adorned with a perfectly harmless smile. It was as miraculous as a masterful disguise. Liu Hao pulled open the door and stepped out once more. His gaze flickered. From the slightly ajar door of the room next to his, a sliver of light seeped through the crack. Liu Hao stepped forward and lightly knocked on the door.
Captain Sung, are you rested? It's unlocked.
The reply from inside the room was ice cold, but the sheer annoyance in his tone was unmistakable.
Alright, I'm coming in.
Liu Hao made one final adjustment, a faint smile gracing his features.